We are deeply sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. Sorry.
It is time for video game news. In this segment, we share the best headlines from the week in the gaming industry. Today, we're going to open up and talk about BlizzCon specifically, but hold your horses. We're going to talk about the games that you are here for towards the end. If you're watching this in video format, well, you need to go look up the Intergamer podcast, theintergamer.net/244. You can also check out the full podcast. BlizzCon happened this weekend, which is interesting, and we were kind of concerned because of all the Hong Kong controversy from last month, but it still went off. It still happened.
Yeah.
And the first thing that happened was Allen Brack, the president of Blizzard, came out and addressed, as he should have, with an apology statement about the Blitzchung controversy. And he, immediately, right when it opens up, he walks out on stage and he addresses the situation. Ultimately, what seemed to be a genuine apology about the fact that they reacted too quickly, they reacted poorly, and that they're going to try and do better next time. And he accepts full responsibility and accountability for it, and they failed in their purpose of basically being a community for everyone. And he mentioned how there's 50 million players that play Hearthstone, or I think it was Hearthstone. One of the games has 50 million players, but all their games have a lot of players. 59 countries is where they have players in. So being a company that brings people from 59 countries to a convention like this is a pretty huge deal. And it's now that you are a global economy.
And apparently
a global
it's only
game.
been growing,
Yeah.
which I was surprised, actually.
I was too, yeah.
They've gone 3 years without releasing a new game. This is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize that. That's insane.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's wild. So they came out and apologized, and I think, obviously they had to apologize. They had to say something because they couldn't just go dark and not say anything. I think it was good. I know, Austin, you were saying there was some comments out there of people saying that it was kind of like a fake apology or something like that.
Well, I guess what people wanted to see was, look, these. I agree with them to a degree. It's like, look, you might have been quick to react. There's things in place that aren't clear in your clauses for some of these things, and if you don't want any political stuff, say it. We don't want anyone talking about political things, okay? And then that would easily clear up everything. Obviously, what he did was political, so it'd be like, all right, well, that's not going to happen again. So technically, Blitzchung was at a time where he didn't need to be punished, and for freedom of speech, it's I understand you might not want this to happen, but now that it has happened, don't punish the messenger, punish everyone else after the fact.
Yeah,
it's why make him an example now? It just makes it look really bad in your part. And if you would just take the ban off of him, everyone would be like, okay, everyone will calm down, everything will be fine, and going forward from now on, this is how it's going to be. And everyone will be like, all right, that's fine, we get it,
Yeah,
but it still looks like they're still catering to China, and they are to some degree. I'm half lit. Allen Brack was emotional about his speech, and half of it was we still got to cater to China to some degree. Whether that's all him, mostly probably partly Activision for being I'm sure they had some lawyer read whatever, or marketing person and be like, this is what you can say and what you can't say, and this is how we have to tailor it. So whether this is what his actual thoughts were, or they had to go and correct certain things, it's just money's become the bottom line, and it's just kind of hard to see, where your values are now, where they lie.
Yeah.
Not to say that he wasn't genuine about this. He might have been.
And that's the problem with growth of companies, is as they get bigger, it gets harder and harder to maintain. There's a certain threshold where you struggle to lose your identity as a as a culture, and you keep adding more people on there unless you. The idea is to start at the top and then build it up from there, and hope that the culture that you establish trickles down to everybody else that comes on board after the fact. But when you grow as fast as Blizzard has grown, it is challenging to maintain that. So,
I mean, you're not technically holding the reins anymore. You know, it's now a bigger company whose bottom line is to make money.
Right.
So you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
For better or worse. And we've come to this. And, come to find out, because I really didn't hear anything about protests going on, but there was a protest outside the convention center.
Yeah.
And people were giving away free shirts to people coming in that said something to the effect of like, free Hong Kong or whatever. And they wanted people to walk into there and wear the T-shirt. They also had a red shirt guy say something about this issue.
Anything else?
Free Hong Kong. Revolution of our times.
Sounds good to me.
It was very quick. There's actually had a few people, and I think the one that was most notable to me was there's a kid who was, when they were doing Q&A for some of the events or some of the games, you could hear him yelling in the background, "Free Hong Kong!"
Is there a possibility that there could be a character we know is connected?
You got a question, mate?
Yeah. Free Hong Kong.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry.
It was a kid. Like,
Yeah.
Whether
It's
you think
wild.
kids should be about that or not at that age, it's up to you to decide. But it's nice to see that it's still a thing. But I think the narrative has changed and shifted a bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of dying off at this point. And now that there was an official apology, if you want to call it that or not, I think things will return to normal to some degree, and they can probably have a better grasp of what's going to happen in the future. So, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, they didn't bring up Diablo Immortal, so that was a good thing.
That is very good. Leave it in China, okay? We don't need that
I did
here.
read it's still in development, but they weren't going to talk about it. It's not coming out this year, so they're
That was supposed to already come out.
They're putting their Blizzard touch on it. They want it to be as good as it can be as a
Right.
Blizzard game. So, yeah, it'll be next year, but it was pretty fascinating. So
Probably still in development because they moved all hands on deck for Diablo 4.
yeah, to make sure that they can announce it here, which obviously that we'll talk about that here in a little bit.